Let's talk about cybersecurity. How do you better protect your online accounts, Mr. Cybersecurity expert?
Yeah. So to understand how to better protect your accounts, you have to understand the basics of authentication. So how would you access accounts? And this boils down to three main concepts. That is what you are. So that's mostly biometrics, like me, my fingerprint, my face. Like iPhone's Face ID. That's what you are. What you have, that can be your physical phone, another device such as a USB drive or security key, and then what you know. That is essentially your password, your PIN, security questions, all that. And using those, you want to combine those for on your online accounts to make sure no one can get it. Because you can never get into an account without having one of two of those things, making it nearly or very difficult for a hacker to get into your account. Um, so going down to each one of those, your password, you want to make sure it is a complex randomized password of like 8 to 12 characters that's have no chance of someone else thinking of it. And this is nearly impossible for someone to remember, so I recommend password managers to handle that for you. I know Bitwarden's a really popular one. It's very easy to use. I use that myself with security key to make sure no one can get into it. It checks to make sure there's no duplicates across your devices, your websites, and it's very convenient. You don't have to memorize all your passwords. It's super simple. But that's also a key to all your passwords. So it's very important to secure that with two-step factorization. Um, the other thing, uh, email. Your email account. Whenever you sign up for an account, you use your email address to sign into that, make that account. If someone compromises your email account, they'll be able to reset nearly all your passwords for every account. There's maybe a few exceptions like bank accounts that are very secure for obvious reasons, but everything else, people will get into it because the server will believe that is you. You have access to the email address. Will let you reset your password. That's very important to make sure your email account has two-factor authentication to make sure all your accounts across all your networks are unique. There's not a duplicate because even today, with database leaks of people releasing all their passwords in the public, as hackers hacking a service, compromising it, and then leaking it for fun. All those passwords are now available to the public in plain text. So if I open that up, you can download it online simply. I can search an email address, see that password has an account, and then use that across other servers with that same email, which is scary in theory, but if you practice good security of making a randomized password that's not unique, it won't be a worry to you because they can get into it.
Let's talk about the decentralization and the benefits and pitfalls of the distribution of workloads across several machines and what that actually means, because that sounds like programmer gobbledygook.
Yeah. So essentially, Bitcoin takes a difference of the current economy where everything's centralized. The government has complete control over currency. They have banks use servers in one area to transfer your money instantaneously. Bitcoin flips this by making it decentralized. So as I said earlier, the miners run the network, and there are you know millions of computers around the world running Bitcoin's network. So instead of having a few large servers running the financial system, Bitcoin takes all these people's laptops, phones. There's even like routers with Bitcoin miners on it. It's getting crazy, and they run the network. So they distribute this very large load across all these computers, all these devices. No one person has control over them. Um, it can scale infinitely as big as it wants as long as people will continue using it. And it's completely open source and automated. So there's no chance for someone to attempt to forge Bitcoin without it getting corrected by the system.
So people don't have to worry about, I mean, what's the likelihood that Bitcoin is going to get hacked?
I mean, the major vulnerability to Bitcoin right now is encryption. So if someone finds a way to bypass AES 256 encryption, which is the highest or one of the highest standards of encryption used all throughout the web right now, it would render encryption useless and easily vulnerable. If this happens, then someone can begin opening any wallet they want and then sending the coins, basically making Bitcoin worthless.
Stealing your money, basically.
Yeah, just outright taking it. You have no chance of stopping it.
So explain like what that looks like, what it would take to break that encryption, and what the likelihood is that it's actually going to happen.
So right now, if you were to take the best server in the world and then try to have that computer guess every single combination of seed words to figure out your wallet seed, it would take trillions of years. And you could take every computer on the planet of Earth, it would still take trillion years. There's no chance that someone could brute force your wallet with modern technology, and that's likely going to continue to happen for a long time. The main fear right now is quantum computing. That's where people start getting a little bit worried about what if this gets so good that someone can bypass encryption, which won't just have implications on Bitcoin, it'll have implications all throughout the web. All web traffic can be decrypted, your phone, your laptop, all that information can be stolen. So it's a major issue that people right now are working at trying to ensure that these encryption standards are protected against the future of quantum computing, which hopefully will continue to be worked on.
So right now, unless quantum computing just takes a quantum leap, if you will,
Yeah,
it's not going to be hacked.
no, you're good. There's other few money attacks, but they only are short-term attacks, and you shouldn't really be worried about it. Like a 51% attack, all that.
So let's talk about the disadvantages.
So yeah, there are definitely a few disadvantages of decentralization. When you have this load spread across thousands and thousands of computers, the amount of energy that each computer is using compared to what they're contributing to the network is not comparable to one giant server intended to, send transactional history back and forth. Like you're sending that network across all these computers. It's very inefficient, uses a lot of energy, and it can definitely be slow. Because instead of me just going to one server saying, "Hey, I want this amount," they send it to me, done. That takes a millisecond. You're going to all these computers, searching throughout the blockchain history, comparing the entire chain of tens of thousands of transactions with that exact coin from inception, and rechecking that 10 times. It's a long process. Sometimes can take up to like 30 minutes to an hour for your coin to even show up to your wallet after you send it. But this comes at the benefit of no one having control. There's no one single point of failure. Uh, it's
So it's almost like somebody double, triple, and quadruple and infinitely checking the transaction to make sure it's actually legit.
yeah. Right now, all the biggest servers in the world are just constantly checking, or not the biggest servers in the world, but collective all these computers being much better than all the biggest servers in the world, collecting and analyzing this data to make sure that the coin that I'm sending to someone else is actually mine. And if it's not, it's going to flag that transaction and it's going to be rendered null.
Let's talk about storing crypto assets in different places. Because one of the things that Lord Acton said was liberty exists in the distribution of power, and tyranny in the concentration of it. So even your own assets, it's like for me, I use multiple places to have, whether it's crypto or stocks. I don't have everything, all my eggs in one particular basket. And the same thing with when it comes to bank accounts and banks that you bank with. It's always good to have diversification in where you have your money and your assets in case something happens. So let's talk about storing your crypto in different places.
Yeah, this is a major part of cryptocurrency security. Is having redundancy in your cryptocurrency seeds, making sure there's backups, making sure it's hidden, making sure no one can access it. So a major thing, what I said earlier with the paper wallets, is basically splitting that wallet into two, so either one is worthless without the other, and then duplicating those. So having four pieces of paper, two with unique seed, and the other two with unique seed, the same. And then you store those in different locations. You can go to your bank, put one in a safe security deposit box. You can hide one in your room in a fireproof folder, and that would ensure that, say, your house burns down, the paper's not lost. If it does,
Because you're trying to protect losing your paper wallet passwords, basically.
yes, if you lose that wallet and you lose your cold wallet or hot wallet, those coins are gone. So it is super important to make sure you store that in the right location.
It's literally like losing a physical wallet. Like you're out shopping one day and your wallet falls out of your pants. Like whatever cash you had in there is gone. That's basically what happens when you have your crypto in a wallet and if you lose your passwords.
Yeah, no, that's equivalent just taking a pile of money and burning it. It is gone. You are not getting access to that again.